I'm back here with my good friend Rich Norton. How you doing today, sir?
I am excellent. I'm doing super fantastic. Great to talk with you.
Great to talk with you, Rich. So last week we talked about being likable. We said in order to make a sale, people have to like you and trust you. So at the beginning, we're talking about the likability, walking with confidence, all of those things. Well, then we start to get into the sales process. And as we move towards hopefully closing a deal, if it's good on both sides, well, we're gonna have to have some trust built up. So talk about that. What is this trust that we have to build up and how do we create it?
Absolutely, because if you think about this, and I know I've talked with this other people about this a lot, is think about when you're walking into a business for the very first time. It really comes down to a lot of trust, and it amazes me that I can meet somebody for the very first time that I've never met in my entire life, and then walk out 40 minutes later or more or less, and they're giving me everything, their social security, their tax ID, where they live, all their banking information. I mean, that really comes down to them saying, Rich or whoever is presenting, I trust you. I
Right.
trust you with everything that I have. And how do you develop that? It takes time. You got to obviously walk in with knowledge. You got to be confident. They should have an impression of you that, hey, this person really knows what they're talking about. Doesn't mean that you have to know everything, but they're also saying that this person is sincere, they're
Hmm.
genuine, they believe in what they're doing, and I'm putting my confidence in them because they're showing that they have confidence. So, how do you develop that? I always say eye contact. I love it when I walk into a business, and I know you relate to this too, when the merchant that you're speaking to stares you right in your eyes. You're having like a
Hmm.
staring contest. And I
Yes.
love that because they're kind of sizing me up and I'm just staring them right back in their eyes. And if we're shifty eyed as we're talking to merchants, that breaks that confidence barrier. So eye contact is a big part of that. Smiling, firm handshake, being sincere, being genuine. But I think even most of all is just showing concern that I really care about this merchant and I want to find out what the best solution is. So we don't want to walk into a business and pitch them because that's what this typical salesperson does. They walk in, I got my pitch down, and I don't care what they say, they're getting cash discount no matter what. We got to listen to them. We got to find out what are their pain points, and how do we do that? We ask them questions, and when they're responding, we're showing that we care about what they're saying. So there's a lot to that, and it's a process. I like walking into a business where, and you've seen this before, where they might have their hands folded and you can see the skepticism and you can feel it. And in the beginning they might say, yeah, we get guys like you all the time, we've heard all the stories, and you're just shaking your head up and down, saying, "Thank you. Tell me about it." These people have come out of the woodworks, and I'm so grateful that you're bringing that up to me. This is what merchants love about us. And now, what ends up happening as they're warming up to you, you can see this body posture turn into this. Now we got a nice rapport going. And what's amazing, at the end, they say, you know what, we were just thinking about changing the other day. But what they're really saying is, we like you, James. We really are
Right.
grateful that you stopped by. We're buying you.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? There ultimately in any kind of situation, you are in a lot of ways selling yourself. And
Correct.
you have to, and the one thing at Rich I found that is interesting, I think small business owners as a general rule have a very good kind of judge of character. Um, and they just pick up on things. And you brought this up, I think it was last week we were talking about this, but if you're walking into business after business after business and you're just getting an overwhelmingly negative response, right?
Right.
I would really challenge you if you're listening right now and that's your experience to say, well, I'm not saying you're going to sell everybody that you talk to, of course, but if you're getting an overwhelmingly negative response, you might want to take a step back and look at what are you saying? What is your body language like? What is your emotional and mental state when you walk into the business? Because when I'm walking into businesses, I'm just not getting that. I mean, I'm getting some, you're going to have a few, right?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would say, I don't know, Rich, your experience, but for me, when I'm out in the field walking to businesses, I mean, overwhelmingly, I'm getting a very positive interaction. It may or may not lead to a sale, but it's a very positive interaction because I'm trying to be the kind of person people are going to like, as we talked about last week. And then I'm building that rapport with them. I'm sharing information about myself and being honest with them, and they're reciprocating, and I'm just building this trust, you know? So I think that's a good barometer of kind of your ability as a salesperson. It largely hinges on that likability and building that trust, right?
I agree. Yeah, because if we go out there with that whole executive approach, and like I was talking about, if we're out there pitching, and I think it's important to record what we're saying and what we're doing,
Mm,
get a partner and go over it. Find somebody that's real successful. And I always tell everybody in our team, look at all the top people, give them a call and give them your opener.
yeah,
And let them say, let them hear you out and give you some pointers, because I know right away, because that's why it's so important that you have a really good opener, because you're setting the tone, you're
right.
building a rapport. And that's what, people say, well, I keep missing them in the end. You're not really missing them in the end. You're missing
Yeah,
them in the beginning. You got to
100%.
set that tone right away. So the closing begins when you first walk in.
I agree 100%. Well, on that note, Rich, I'm sure people are going to want to reach out, learn more about what you guys are doing and kind of the training programs that you have that go over all of this. So, where would you send people that want to learn more about the Payrock team there?
Absolutely. If you feel you're a good fit for a winning team like the Super Crew of Payrock, reach out to me at Rich Norton, uh, Payrock, Payroc, Rich Norton at gmail.com. Or you can call me 904-434-4635, or text me and I'll arrange to make an appointment for a call with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much for sharing all this with us today, Rich. Really appreciate it.
That's my blessing. Thank you.